Welcome to This Week in College Football, the #1 college football podcast in the world, where we give our opinion on the latest news and action in the past week of college football. Now, here is your host, Rob Mchugh.
Welcome, everybody, to the 9th edition of This Week in College Football.
All right. Hello, everyone.
I'm glad we made it through another week.
Amen.
Before we even talk about anything today, there's something I've been meaning to do for a couple of weeks, and I keep forgetting about it. But on our YouTube page, we have a lot of military people that are listening and watching our videos on YouTube. And I want to just tell them we appreciate what they're doing. And
we sure do.
And you were in the Navy, weren't you, Andy?
I sure was, yes.
Well, there are several people from the Philippines and a couple from Japan and, stationed all over the world that are listening to our show, listening to stuff from back home. And I really appreciate what you do. And that's the reason we're able to sit here and do what we do. So
exactly.
We appreciate it.
And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for
listening. And send
listening.
us some feedback if you can.
We're going to talk about the American Athletic Conference and the Mountain West today, but there's been some news out this week from the Northwestern Wildcats.
I'll tell you, I'm glad to see. Players getting to say have a word, but I'm just not sure about them getting paid. I mean, I don't know. There's other compensation. I know Nick Saban was saying that there's a lot of programs they have to help the students in the future, but and he's not sure about getting paid either. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm glad to see some of these things unfolding and the players having more say. I don't know if I like this union stuff.
I don't like that. That's not going to be good for anybody.
No.
That's just going to, like we were talking earlier, it's going to turn around and make them employees of the school. And whatever they get is going to be taxed, and then you're in a whole nother ball game. You got the IRS is going to come in there, and that's a whole different ball game.
Everything else, but I mean, what these players don't understand is they really are getting paid. They're getting a college education.
Yeah, I
mean, and that's payment enough, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I do think they need programs to help these kids when they get out, and I mean that's reasonable. But, I mean, a college education, shoot, how many people in America would like a college education paid for?
Yeah.
I mean, that's payment enough right there, I think.
Well, and 99% of them, of the college athletes, aren't going pro.
Yes, exactly.
So that's why they need their education. And, I've always kind of felt that as much money as college football makes for the school, that, it's hard to – you can't – if you see one of the football players out on campus, you can't buy them something to eat. That's an NCAA violation.
And that's ridiculous.
So what if they don't have any, I don't.
I mean, they can't go work part-time, some of them.
No.
I mean, they're studying, they're practicing, they're in conditioning, and most of them are broke.
Several years ago, there was a player at Auburn. His name was Deason. He played inside linebacker. He walked on. He worked 2 jobs, made the football team finally. Started at inside linebacker and finally got a scholarship, and that was all he was trying to do. But he had to work 2 jobs to pay for school, pay for everything that goes along with it.
That's a determined kid right there.
Yeah, but that was probably back in the early '90s when that happened. But I've always kind of thought they needed some money, but then you turn around and you get into that Title IX mess where everybody's all the if you're going to pay the football players $1,000 each a month, then you got to pay the volleyball team.
Everybody's getting paid. Well, I know in the '80s, Derek McKee, a basketball player for Alabama, he had to forego his senior year because he had taken some money from an agent, and he helped his mother out. I mean, the boy was broke. I'm not saying he did the right thing, but he did what he thought was the right thing. His mother's broke. They live in a broke-down house. He took the money. We paid the consequences. We had to pay the money back to the NCAA, and he went on to play for Seattle and Indianapolis, a great career, but a class guy. And he came right out and told them when they asked him, yes, I did it. My mother needed money. And I mean, some things need to be addressed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm glad they're working on it. But I don't think it's a union.
Well, look how much money. Just take Florida State. How much money does that football program bring into that school? I would say that's the number one revenue for that, over tuition and everything.
Oh, yes,
that's the number one revenue for that school. And look how much money these networks are making off these colleges.
Everybody makes a
players.
killing off of these kids.
Yeah.
And somehow something needs to be done. They've got to address that, and I think they're starting to now.
I don't think unionizing it's the way to do it.
That's not the answer.
And I saw where just Northwestern, Stanford, and somebody else, they're private schools. So that what Northwestern has done shouldn't affect the state schools, but if one of them, if they do go through with this, then it's going to go.
Oh, it's going to spread like wildfire
nationwide, and that's going to ruin college football.
It sure will. And they're trying their best. Some people are trying their best to ruin it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got a good thing going. Why change it? I mean, what's a more popular sport right now than college football?
There isn't one.
That's my favorite sport.
Yeah, mine too. Well, especially in the South. Now you get up north, they got the hockey, and I'm sure I love hockey.
I do too. I like watching hockey. They used to have a team in Birmingham. And I like
it when they put the light on the puck so I can see where it's going. And everybody loves a good fight.
Yeah.
Oh, in breaking news, an Auburn recruit, a 4-star commitment, quarterback, receiver, got arrested this past Sunday for marijuana possession and eluding police. I think the police had to chase him 45 yards, and he almost scored. But Malzahn's working on what he's going to do about it, and I doubt we see him at Auburn.
Well, he was from McGill-Tulane in Mobile.
He was going to a little school in Mississippi State.
Yeah,
Mississippi.
Well, his grades, he had to get his grades up or something, and he was going to Gulf Coast.
Yes.
Community college, the same one that they got the big number one receiver from this year.